Good morning, this is Ryan of Midnight Solar. Today I want to talk to you about programming your kid charge controller to work with the WBjr. For this video I'm going to assume that you've already wired the WBjr up, and for help with that please see the manual that came with the WBjr or the video entitled Wiring My WBjr for My Classic or Kid Charge Controller. So the first thing we want to do is we need to go in and program the auxiliary for WBjr. So we're going to go to the main menu, bottom right button, and you'll see there's brackets around the item. This is a little unique to the kid. The classic actually highlights the item. The kid puts brackets around it. I want to scroll until we find auxiliary, AUX, right there, and then we want to press enter to enter that menu. Here you'll notice the function is already set for WBjr and it's off in auto, and it's already set for auto. You will need it on auto and you will need it in WBjr. At the present time, that's the only function in the kid, so you don't have to choose WBjr, but as functions get added, you'll have to scroll through the auxiliary functions to find the actual WBjr, just like you do on the Classic. Now that we've got it set for auto, using the left and right arrows to select auto, we want to go to the setup button. Top left button right here, it's labeled setup. Can't really see it here, maybe you can. You want to push that button, and apologize, I'm in the wrong screen. This is the first screen that will come up, so let me back up and show you that again. You're going to want to press the setup button, and you're going to come up to this screen, which is battery capacity. It's going to default to 400 amp hours, and then you can choose the capacity based on the spec of your battery. In my case, I have a pair of Trojan L16 REBs, and they're 375 amp hours each, and I have them wired for 12 volts. So I have a 375 amp hour battery bank. For help with that number, you can consult the spec sheet that came with your battery or your battery manufacturer, and they can supply you all the information you need for all of these menus. These are all battery specific numbers, if you will. And now you'll notice there's a right arrow right here, and what that's indicating to us is that there's more stuff for us to do. Anytime you see that arrow, that's letting you know there's more stuff off the screen, and you can use the right arrow down here to go find that stuff. So we're going to scroll to the right once, and now we need to enter battery efficiency. And battery efficiency is kind of a tough number to crack, if you will. Every battery is a little bit different. Battery efficiency changes with age. The typical efficiency that you'll see on most state of charge meters is 94%. I have found by watching the percentage climb and the switch to float that my batteries are about 93% efficient. So with it at 93% efficient, I notice that I hit 100% at about exactly the same time I go to float, letting me know that my meter is running just about perfect. If you notice you're going to float and your batteries are at 90%, then your efficiency may be set incorrectly, or the same way the other way around. If you notice you're going to float long after they hit 100%, you may need to tweak this number up and down a little bit to actually get that to read correctly, if you will. If you've got a sealed battery like an AGM or a gel, that number may be a little higher, especially when they're new. And again, you'll notice there's a right arrow there, and that means we've got more stuff to do. So we'll press the right arrow on the kid, and you'll notice we've got battery temperature reference in degrees C. And what this is the neutral point for the battery, if you will. Most batteries are rated, everything is rated around 25 degrees C. And what that means is that if the batteries are below 25 degrees C, then we need to raise their voltage and lower their capacity. If the batteries are above 25 degrees C, we need to lower their charge voltages and raise their capacity. So this number here is actually adjustable on the Kid and the Classic. Most batteries are 25 degrees C, but if you happen to have one that's unique and needs to be set for 30, you can change that number right there. And again, what that does is that gives us the control over the neutral point, if you will, for the voltage set points for our temperature compensation on voltage, as well as our capacity change for temperature, which we'll talk about in the next screen. Because as you notice, there's a right arrow, meaning we've got to go set more stuff. So we'll press the right arrow, and here we have battery change percentage. And this is the percentage per degree C the battery capacity will change. This only affects the capacity, which does affect the state of charge percentage, obviously. It does not affect the voltages, for the temperature compensation. And what you're looking at here by default is 1% per degree C. And that seems to be pretty standard, but again, that's something your battery manufacturer can supply for you. And what this does is this changes the capacity of the battery in amp hours based on the battery's temperature. So on my Trojan REBs, for instance, they claim 1% per degree C capacity change. So my batteries right now are running at 10 degrees C because I live in Maine and it's cold. So that's telling me that I'm losing 15% of my capacity right now because of the temperature of my battery. Now that's not a permanent loss, that's only there because the battery is cold. As soon as the battery warms up, it goes back to its standard capacity. But a battery's capacity does change with temperature, and this number is important, you know, to get an accurate state of charge percentage as well as remaining amp hours, which we'll see in another screen coming up. And again, all four of these screens, all four of these data points can be given to you by the battery manufacturer. So if you've got any questions, you know, get on the internet and look at your battery manufacturer's spec sheets. If that doesn't do it, you know, feel free to call their customer service. Most, you know, renewable energy battery manufacturers have all this data, and I'm more than happy to supply that for you. So once all four of these screens are set, unlike the Classic, we don't want to press enter to save it. The kit actually has a save button. This top right button, if you can see it right there, it says save right above the button. We're going to shove that button and we're going to see data has been saved. So now we're going to push a status button to get back to the home screen of the kit. And what I want to show you now is the status screen for the WBjr and battery capacity and state of charge. So to do that, we're going to use the left and right arrows to scroll through the different status screens. So we're going to go to the first one is the input voltage. The second status screen is the WBjr status screen. The first number you're seeing in the top left corner is the actual ampacity into the battery bank at the moment. You know, how many amps are we actually charging at? That's not what the kit is actually putting out. That's what's actually going into the battery after the loads are satisfied. So in this case, you'll notice we're putting around 3 amps into the battery. And then the next number you see, SOC 91%. So the state of charge on my battery bank right now is 91%. It's first thing in the morning. They've gone through the night, so they've used up, you know, 9 or 10% of their energy through the night to power my loads, and now the sun is out and it's starting to charge back up. But you'll notice that I only have 290 amp hours remaining, which seems kind of low for a 375 amp hour battery bank. But if you think about it, remember I said that my batteries are running at 10 degrees C. So this remaining amp hours is being compensated for the temperature of my batteries, letting me know that I don't have as much of my batteries as my nameplate says because my batteries are cold. So that's a tutorial of the WBjr status screen and how to program the WBjr on your kit. We're going to go back to the main status screen, and that will conclude this video. Thank you for watching.